On the day Soviet scientists jauntily drop-kicked little Sputnik halfway around the globe, experts agreed they had forgotten just one thing: good old American ingenuity. That same day, President Eisenhower's Commission on Higher Education recommended only one weapon in response to Sputnik's challenge: more and better education. And what does that mean? On campuses nationwide and here at the University of Texas, it means more scientists, more teachers, more administrators, more students, and yes, more librarians. Mob scenes like these followed the committee's call as the number of would-be librarians spiraled upward, ever upward, in a mad rush to man the academic battle stations. High-paying careers beckon these patriots, and the polls tell us that of all campus jobs, president, professor, dorm mother, or quarterback, the job of library office assistant is the most widely envied. You are the lucky ones, the able few who have been chosen over your less trustworthy peers to guard the lines of free circulation. In your upward, ever upward rise through library ranks, remember the illustrious names of those who have manned the circulation desk before you: Cactus Pryor, Earl Campbell, Farrah Fawcett, Tommy Toole. Each has perhaps graduated to other, more lucrative employment, but none has since contributed more to the upward, ever upward momentum of America's space program. And what did they actually do at the circulation desk, you ask? In this tape, you will learn exactly what they did and why they did it. Watch the tape carefully and replay any section you wish to review, or simply continue at the tone. America's readiness depends on your ability to stay awake. Your job consists of two basic types of activities. Circulation activities include distinguishing between the various types of library borrowers, charging and discharging items, coding materials which need it, and processing hold, recall, and search requests for books that are not immediately available. Referral activities involve the more general service aspects of your job and simply mean directing borrowers to specialized help or information, such as the online and PCL main card catalogs, other library units, basic directions for patrons' convenience, and problem-solving help for fine disputes or questions about library policy. All of these activities are merely different types of service to our users. For some, you may be the first or perhaps the only contact with the library system, and this makes it very important that you communicate correct information and an interest in helping them. Anyone may use library materials within the library. In order to check an item out, though, a patron must fit into one of the categories of valid borrowers and must be identified as such by the appropriate ID or library card. Basic categories are students, faculty, and staff members whose library cards are university IDs made at the ID Center in Gregory Gym, and courtesy, special, and proxy borrowers whose library cards are made here in the workroom behind the PCL circulation desk. Because each category is subject to different circulation rules, the correct identification of a borrower's card is essential. Identification is made according to the borrower code, the digit bound just to the right of the Social Security number on each card. Other information from the card may also be required according to the type of borrower, but for now, just remember that you must know the borrower's code before a legitimate transaction can occur. It is also important to realize that because cards are never transferable, all relevant information for a checkout should appear on the card. If you think that someone is attempting to use another person's card, do not continue the transaction. The picture on ID Center cards and the signatures on the back of the library-made cards are there to help you identify the presenter. After you have identified the borrower's category, the next piece of information needed to check out an item is the type of material. Normal loan periods are assigned to each borrower code for regular books from the stacks, and these are the same throughout the library system. Undergraduate students and courtesy borrowers can check out these books for 2 weeks. graduate students and staff members for 4 weeks, and faculty members, professional staff, proxy borrowers, and special borrowers may check them out for the entire semester. Some types of materials, however, go out for shorter loan periods. In PCL, the major groups of restricted loan materials are the bound copies of journals, which go out for only 2 hours for photocopying purposes, and the new book, textbook, and youth collections, which go out for 2 weeks only to all borrower types. The process of charging a book through the circulation system is a simple one, as the computer requires only 3 pieces of information. First, it needs the user's ID number, which can be typed from the keyboard or read directly from the card with an OCR, or optical character reader wand. Next, an item number, which is located on the label inside the item, is entered in the same manner. Finally, the computer needs to connect a loan period with each item so that it can calculate a due date or time for that item. This is entered manually with a 1-digit loan period code next to each item number on the screen. Up to 8 books may be placed on the screen at once, and each may have a different loan period depending on the type of material involved. Then the information is entered into the computer's database by pressing the Enter key. A blank screen appears with the message, "Updates have been completed. You may enter new information." Next, the items are stamped with the appropriate due date and desensitized so that they may pass through the library's theft alarm system. Only then should you return the items and the ID card, and tell the borrower the due date and times. Discharging is even simpler, as the computer doesn't need to know which borrower has had the item or how long it has been out. Just stamp the discharge date on the due date slip, read or type the item number, and press the Enter key. Several messages can appear in order to instruct you about special situations. After these have been dealt with and the blank screen reappears, the computer transaction is finished. Books are sensitized for the alarm system at this point and routed for reshelving or for special types of maintenance. Some books do not have the unique item number which allows the computer to identify them, and are not in the online system. Books presented for checkout without this number should be given one, as they must be in the system in order to be charged. The coding table has 3 kinds of item number labels. Those which begin with the prefix 217 are to be used only for uncoded UN documents, while 116 labels should be used for all other government documents, and 110 labels are for all PCL books and bound journals. Each number on the label sheet is duplicated so that one label may be placed inside the front cover of the book, and the other attached to the coding flag. This process will allow the item to be attached to proper bibliographic and circulation information in the online system. If someone needs a book and cannot find it on the shelf, have them complete one of the green Hold Recall search forms at the desk. This allows us to help the borrower find the book, or to have it reordered if the book has disappeared. It is crucial for these forms to be filled out accurately and completely. After the requester has finished a form for each book or volume in question, check to make sure that the cards are legible, and help him or her to complete any missing information. The form may then be placed in the appropriate box behind the checkout stations. For books which are charged, the hold or recall spaces on the card should be checked. The recall process will actually change the item's due date and raise the current borrower's late charges for the item. Once it has been returned, the item will be held for the requester so that he or she may be notified by mail. Returned books are kept in call number order on the hold recall shelf in the workroom. You may take books from this shelf when the requester presents the white notification card or gives you the book's call number. As there may be several borrowers waiting for a particular item, however, it is essential that you check the slip in each of these books to make sure that the person at the counter is really the next in line for the book. If so, it may be charged as usual. If there is more than one person waiting for the book, the computer will allow you to charge it for no longer than 2 weeks to the current requester. If the book in question is not checked out, check the search category on the green card, and we will help the patron to look for the book. Books that are found will be held on the hold recall shelf, except for the bound journals, which are simply put back into their proper place in the stacks. Searches still in progress are filed in the 2 boxes behind the checkout stations according to the month in which they were requested. Remember that the only information we have on the status of these books is that they are not on the shelves where they are supposed to be. We cannot guarantee finding a book within a certain time limit. It is therefore wise for requesters to continue searching for books themselves. Often, books are merely waiting to be reshelved in the distribution areas on each floor or near the various photocopiers in the building, and patrons are advised to begin their searches there. The online and PCL card catalogs are the main tools for finding books in the library. Though each branch has a card catalog of its own materials, only the PCL main card catalog indexes materials in all of the collections. It is divided into subject and name title areas and has special sections for theses, textbooks, and curriculum guides. Over the last several years, though, the library has been moving toward an online computer catalog. And in fact, there have been no new cards added into the card catalog since 1985. At this point, this means that neither system is entirely complete, and users should know that thorough searching may involve both. Eventually, the online system will include all of the library's holdings. It is capable of various kinds of automated searching as well as complete bibliographic retrieval for particular items. And it ties in with the library's circulation system so that patrons can see a book's due date if it is checked out. Terminals are available at all library units, and at PCL they may be found in the reference, card catalog, reserve, and periodical areas, as well as the reference limited areas in the stacks. The system may also be accessed by computer from a home or office with the use of a modem. Staff at the information desk have printed material about outside access and other related services, and they can also help patrons to use the catalog. There are 17 branches and special collections in the general libraries, in addition to the main library at PCL. Except for the undergraduate library, which houses a generalized collection of limited loan materials, each is specialized to some degree according to subject matter. While library cards are good at any of these units, borrowers may tend to use the same branches over and over, and therefore may be unfamiliar with other locations. Usually the map of library locations should be sufficient to direct them to other units, where they may ask at the circulation or reference desks for further help. Be aware, however, that each unit varies in terms of loan periods and hours of operation, so that correct information for PCL may not translate to other locations. Several other library units are housed here at the PCL as well. These include the PCL Reserve Unit behind the glass doors at the end of the lobby and the reference room across the lobby from the circulation desk. The Library and Information Science Collection and its staff offices are on the 6th floor. The periodicals and microforms and photo duplication units and the PCL Microcomputer Center are on the 1st floor. And the office for the general libraries is at the top of the stairs on the 3rd floor for anyone who may have employment or administrative questions. On level 2 in PCL, payphones are available in the entryway near the front doors, and public lockers in the same area cost 25 cents per use. A campus-only telephone sits on the nearest card catalog table to our desk and is free of charge. Restrooms are next to the elevators around the corner to our left, and a change machine and copy card dispenser stand together near the exhibit areas next to the reserve room. There is no eating or drinking allowed in the building. Patrons with questions in this regard should be referred to the Jester Center store, Dobie Mall, or the Business School dining facility for nearby restaurants. There are also soft drink machines on the 3rd and 4th floors of the University Teaching Center next door. Smoking areas are designated on the PCL maps. For more difficult questions about library policy with which you are unfamiliar, or about specific fines or overdue books, or in fact for anything about which you feel uncertain, refer the borrower to a desk supervisor. The amount of work done at the circulation desk makes it absolutely critical that in-depth or lengthy questions be dealt with in the workroom and away from the checkout lines. In addition to saving patrons the frustration of explaining a problem to several different people, this also allows quick access to the kind of information needed to solve problems. And it lets the borrower know that a question is taken seriously enough to warrant individual attention. In short, refer any questions about which you are uncertain to a supervisor in the workroom as soon as you can do so in a polite manner. The library is truly the heart of any great university. And here at UT, over 6 million books cajole faculty and students alike, as if to say, read more, read faster, read better. Though the latest academic techniques ensure that scholars receive an optimum amount of knowledge for each acre of material ingested, even the most experienced professor may sometimes feel lost in the shuffle, a little like the proverbial salmon swimming downstream, and our job is to help. The freshmen of today will graduate into the cosmonauts of tomorrow. And when graduation day finally arrives, and those freshmen blast off into the rarefied, sublime stratosphere of research, scholarship, and leveraged buyouts, we'll know that the library did its part to boost them into orbit. 10, 9, 8, the countdown has begun. 7, 6, 5, America's future, ready for liftoff. 4, 3, 4, 3, 4, 3. Okay, turn off the tape, man those battle stations, and forward into the future.